Thanks for staying with us. So, the chief imam of Akwa Legislative Quarters, Juma Mosque, Nuru Khalid, has been suspended for upsetting very powerful people. Based on his recent sermon, he says the comments were not soothing to the ears of political leaders who the cleric flayed for the country's rising insecurity, and he has since been suspended for anti-government preaching. Now, many obviously have spoken up against this, saying that they're taking us back to the military rule where people cannot express their views. Others are saying that he went too far for practically saying directly that the President Muhammadu Buhari has failed Nigerians. What are your thoughts on this? He came as a shock to many people that he was suspended within 24 hours of his administration. We don't even know if he will be brought back, but for now he's been suspended. Some are saying that he's probably been removed for now. What are your thoughts on? Let me start with Nima, since this is something you mentioned earlier.
What they call a council of imams, because in Islam they have a committee that regulates the level of knowledge or the kind of information that a cleric puts out. So he's not, as an imam, he doesn't just act alone. He's not a guy unto himself or, head of the mosque alone. There's a shura, there's a body of knowledgeable people around him who would regulate what he says. And if those people consider what he has said inciting, they know what to do, which is what they have done. It conforms with the Islamic standard. The government of Nigeria has not reacted. They are not the ones who removed him, as this one, as I took it in the paper, and they have not responded to him. What we read is that the body of the Akpo Central...
Let me give you an excerpt of what he said. Just so that it says, I want to believe that we have all failed. I failed as an imam to teach you that life is sacred.
Exactly.
You failed as parents to teach your children that killing is bad. Our community leaders failed, our politicians failed, governors failed, even our president have failed us. He said that, you have been given 4 years, and in addition, yet people are dying like fowls. Killing is becoming the norm in Nigeria under your watch, Mr. President. If there is no one to tell you, I would take the responsibility of telling you, and I would take the responsibility of telling you, and I would take the responsibility of telling you for the consequences because of the lives of people who have been lost. Let me tell you, Mr. President, under your watch, bandits are demanding, are taxing Nigerians. Is that the provision of the Constitution of Nigeria? Under the Constitution of Nigeria, no one has the right to tax any Nigerian except the government. Go back to your... he kept going on, and he said that didn't the president go to Kaduna? But there was a bomb blast in Kaduna. Everybody in Nigeria can also say that, God forbid, for these things that are happening. So the context is almost what we see every single day. I tried to look through the script of what he said. And for me, it didn't come across as inciting unless I'm missing something else. So my fellow people, there is no government with leniency. The government uses its power to arrest, oppress, break, and kill. And that is what we want to be done against the terrorists right now. Whoever wants to, So I have gone through this. He ranted like we rant every day here. They would have arrested also.
So, for me, I feel that he wasn't arrested. I'm happy with what Nima said. He wasn't arrested by the government.
He was suspended.
He was suspended by his body.
The body.
He's a member of a body. Yeah, so as a member of a body, they have rules guiding that body that does not agree with what he said. What he said is what Nigerians are feeling. I was enjoying myself in Dubai. And then I just came on Instagram briefly in between, and I saw train attack, I just quickly switched it off. I said, I don't want to see this. Because it just weighed down our spirits. Everybody is angry that why can't you just have freedom to move? You are using the train. So this man simply expressed his frustration at the seemingly loss of value of human life in Nigeria as he sees it. And he is a member of a body that has rules, and that body says that he has gone beyond what he's meant to do as an imam. Maybe in his place as a human being, maybe in his place as an individual, he can express this, but maybe as an imam, he was not allowed to express this.
I hear that. Yes, work within the rules of the organization that you're part of. But some will argue that religion shouldn't be totally excluded from what is going on, because in life, the development we've seen, the civilization we've seen, has usually been through religion. Religion has actually brought education and civilization to the world. So we shouldn't totally exempt religion in times like this, where somebody must be that moral compass to remind the leaders, to remind those ahead that you have a responsibility to us to keep us safe. So if the pastors, if the imams are not saying it, who then will say it? They are supposed to be the moral compass to direct. So both of them, I think it was Pastor Paul and Deborah was saying that both must work together. Politics and governance, politics and security, and politics and religion must work together, because they are the ones that direct us, the people, to work in the civilized society.
So personally, I don't think what he said is wrong. There are things I sit here every day and do worse things and say worse things the way I feel about what is presently happening in the country. I think he's very, very apt on what he has said. And I know that people on that committee also share. It's just that, you know, there are rules and that guide certain things.
Is it psychophancy?
So, no. In Islam, when you do not incite using the pulpit in Islam. So some people have used it to say, when I shared posts on one of the, I think it was the answers, someone came into my DM and threatened that, you know, that is not Islam and that you're an embarrassment to Muslims. Because in Islam, when you have a legitimate government in place, you don't make comments, even if that government is bad, that might incite the people to an insurrection. So what you do is that you call out government. If you're closer to government and you have the ability to change the mindset, to use your voice the right way, you cannot use it. But
some might argue that Sheikh Gumi was saying things that incited maybe Christians too, because he was really, based on what he was saying.
But Sheikh Gumi probably, I don't know how his own mosque is structured. He's just a cleric. So this man doesn't stop being a cleric. He can use his platform on social media. He just cannot be the imam of Akpo's legislative quarters mosque anymore, because
Let me take this call from James and come back
speaking for them.
James, are you there? Thanks for calling. Hello, good morning, James from Maryland. Hello, James. Okay, I think we're having issues.
So he cannot be seen to be speaking on behalf of the Muslim community there, or the people there cannot be seen to be incited by his comment to react. So protests like that, public protests, are somewhat not called for in Islam. But if you're a public figure and there's something wrong in government, you're supposed to follow the rules of Islam, which is when you see something bad, you change it with your mouth, or you take an action to change it. If you cannot do that, use your words. If you cannot do that in the least, you hate it in your heart. So what he has done is totally Islamic for me, except that, you know, there are rules guiding the pulpit, and that's all.
So I feel that the religion is a very powerful tool in Nigeria. Many Nigerians, based on maybe lack of government, maybe based on lack of basic amenities, we have resorted to holding God, because you must not be sick. You have to hold God. You must not have any crisis. It has to be God. So we are very religious, and our religion can then be a source of hope for people. And so we cannot ask our leaders not to be political, because everything happening in this country is affecting them. Our religious leaders have to pray on the sick patient, the sick child, and pray for healing when the hospital did not work. Religious leaders have to pray when everybody is traveling. Before you travel, they call pastor. Pastor, please, though, I want to travel.
Let me even say
and then
what
something
he said
happens.
in relation to what you just said. He was saying that our president was condemning the attack and saying, God forbid. He now said, everybody in Nigeria can also say God forbid for the bad things that are happening. Only the terrorists will not say God forbid. We want you to govern, not to say God forbid. You should give orders that wherever these terrorists are hiding, they should be apprehended. Where they get supplies from should be blocked. And whoever has a hand in supporting them should be arrested and prosecuted. That is the same thing we say here every single day. So, for me, this man hasn't really said anything out of context. He's exactly saying, so should we therefore bring our argument against this group he belongs to? Are they totally blindsided on what is going on? Are they saying they are not in Nigeria? Are they saying that they don't have a responsibility to us, the people? Because if you are a committee that he's underneath, shouldn't they also have a responsibility? Isn't there a social responsibility from their own end to us to speak the truth to power?
No, so they can speak truth to power, but I just highlighted the rule. So another imam has been brought who would preach to the people along the books and not bring what they consider inciting comments in. But I know that this imam spoke from a place of emotion. I have authority on someone who just arrived from Umrah to come and do his fast, who was on that train, who was killed. So if his relatives were there, he spoke from a place of emotion and it was painful. So the committee is just doing what they can so that government does not come and lock up or think that they are growing an insurrection in that mosque. They have done the right thing, but then shouldn't we speak truth to power? So what I would like the Imam to do is what the former Emir of Kano did. When politics were brought into the truth he was saying, he left the throne as they wanted him to, but he has not stopped speaking. He has not stopped speaking.
And another thing
and
we
so
should
truth
take,
is truth wherever
we should take cognizance of is where did this speaking take place? This man was the chief imam of Akko Legislative Quarters, the Jumat Mosque. So you're not just speaking everywhere, you are speaking in the Legislative Quarters Mosque. So it is a case of where you are speaking is where it would pinch them. And I think that I must applaud him for being bold enough to speak the pains of Nigerians, because he was speaking to the poverty of, he said, the poor people. And that was, his statement was not about the wealthy ones. He was saying the average Nigerian, everybody in Nigeria, that we should check history, look at what is going on. So he was speaking in relation to what the average Nigerian is feeling.
So my question to Nima, shouldn't Muslims therefore demand his reinstatement?
That can
because I mean he has not for me he hasn't incited anybody or anything. No? He's expressing a view that many Nigerians share. So Muslims around him therefore should say, no, this man should be reinstated. He was wrongly removed.
Of course, people are already speaking. I am already speaking on his reinstatement. But we are not the ones who reinstate. That committee would always be the ones to approve who would direct the kind of messages that come out every day. But the truth is, whatever platform that you are on, you will speak whatever you think you must do to change the mindset of those in power, so-called in power. And so he remains a sheikh because the knowledge remains his own. But what is inciting remains a subjective issue. It depends on who is hearing it and how they feel about
James.
What they're hearing.
Good morning, James. Are you there? Good morning, James. You're live. Go ahead, please. Okay, so we didn't have this during, somebody was saying that we didn't have this during Jonathan's period. People were expressing themselves. We had a lot of freedom of speech during Jonathan's period. Is this an indictment on this government, saying that anybody that says anything in this government usually are arrested? So the president himself should make the pronouncement for this man to be reinstated, according to this Twitter person, saying that why is the government seemingly against freedom of expression at all levels?
Let me quickly say it again. It's not Buhari's government. They've not their own. I'm sure they are still coming. They have not done anything yet. It's the Shura committee that the committee of the Dawa committee around the mosque. So he has responded. I wanted to take his response. He said, God is the most powerful. He gives, that is, he enthrones and takes away power and dethrones whomever he wills, saying that he cannot be deterred by what has happened. It's only God, the master of sovereignty. You give sovereignty to whom you please and see sovereignty from whom you please. You honor whom you please and you abase whom you please. All good is in your hands. Indeed, you have power over all things. So he is not deterred. I believe that he will continue to use his voice. I think he's a more responsible person in his utterances compared to Sheikh Gumi. Sheikh Gumi is not, for me, what he has said is just stating the obvious and asking them, you can do more beyond, sometimes this kind of statements in the positive should provoke the president to say, it's coming from my camp that I am doing wrong. When they say, how do they say it in English? When the fat is smelling on you, sometimes it takes you, your family member, to let you know that, okay, don't go in that party yet. Wait, make your fat smell finish, before you go outside. And if it's coming from someone like him, just the way I felt that the former emir should have been respected for his views on the abuses in the north, because the result of what he was saying,
we're seeing it. Your
lack of government, your rank and all of them, level of poverty is very high, and the gap is very wide. In Islam, where zakat is done to balance wealth, we are fasting now. In the next 10 days, in the last 10 days of Ramadan, everybody is running around for their zakat al-fitr. The purpose of it is that every hand must, at a point in time, be equal. That is the message of Islam. And when somebody tells you, try to balance it out, let there be a balance of wealth in society, so that this easy recruitment of young children or idle hands into banditry will not happen under your watch. You go politics.
I'm looking forward for more of these Ramadan lectures that start from soon.
Yes.
And we're going to hear more of these kind of messages. I would like to say that many of our imams should not be deterred with this action. Yeah. We need you during this season, especially, to speak truth to power. Let us hear from you. We'll definitely help you amplify it on this show. But please, let's use this Ramadan season to indeed speak truth to power and ensure that Nigerian government is listening and understand what Nigerians are going
Let me quickly add that not only, he didn't call out only the president. In his sermon, he said, I have failed to speak to you about the sanctity of life, which is one core message in Islam. And you have failed to train your children. And the result is banditry. And he spoke that the bandits don't know the value of life and the sanctity of life. So he spoke to the bandits. It was a very balanced statement. So I'm very balanced comments. The Shura committee reacted too quickly, in my view. Yes. But then he shouldn't stop speaking. We need people of knowledge to call out.
On that note, that's all we can take on the show. Thank you very much, ladies. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.